Did the Eagles just get their Micah Parsons?
I put a Jihaad on them.
No, but let's talk about it anyway. Welcome to our post-NFL draft breakdown. This one isn't sanitized and slick like ESPN or NFL Network. There's no one named Rick here, and I don't even own pants. No, this is the low-down, dirty draft report. The one that got your mother pregnant in college. We're breaking down the winners and losers from the NFL Draft. We're even making predictions for these stupid rookies who got rich overnight. Well, all I got was the meat sweats from a Brazilian steakhouse with no doors on the men's room. We're judging film, stats, metrics, and picking apart depth charts and contracts. And if that sounds fun to you, well, hell, you might not own pants either. This is the NFC East. Welcome to Shut Up Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus. That's Kevin. We're talking Jaxon Dart, Cam Skattbo, and a buttload of defense. Washington Commanders. The Commanders addressed half their needs and then sat around smelling their own farts. Who needs an edge defender when you had Indian for dinner? Winners. Jaydon Daniels. They got him more protection and another weapon. Running backs. No serious investment at the position. Losers. Noah Igbinoghene. I think his playing time just took a hit. Stay limber, my man. In the second round, they took Trey Amos, cornerback out of Mississippi. He's consistent in coverage. He can play zone and man. He's aggressive at the catch point, like he's all hands. He's physical and disruptive. His comps are Tarheeb Still and Tre'Davious White. Amos is 6'1", 195 pounds. He runs a 4.43 with a 25 percentile burst. He's got an RAS of 8.38. In college, he had 5 years of good production with 121 combined tackles, 2 fumbles forced, 4 interceptions, and 31 passes defended. The depth chart is Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Sainristil, and Noah Igbinoghene. Lattimore's 28 years old. He's got 2 years left on his current contract. Sainristil was a second-round pick from last year. Igbinoghene is 25 years old. He's on a 1-year deal. Sainristil was predicted to play the nickel corner when he was drafted. If Amos can lock down the other outside corner spot, it makes sense to move Sainristil over, and Washington's corner situation appears to be handled. Trey Amos has all the size, speed, and skills you want at the position. He looks like a starter from day one, and you would be smart to get him an IDP. In the fourth round, they took Jaylin Lane, wide receiver from Virginia Tech. Lane shows quick change of direction and breakaway speed after the catch. He has decent hands. He's got deep speed. He also gets used on jet sweeps, likely a special teamer with upside. Lane is 5'11", 191 pounds. He runs a 4.34 with a 95 percentile burst. He's got an RAS of 9.56. In college, he had 5 years of production, 203 receptions, 2,532 yards receiving, 21 total touchdowns. The depth chart is Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, Noah Brown, Luke McCaffrey, and KJ Osborne. McLaurin is 29 years old. He has 2 years left on his current contract. Samuel's 29 years old, new to the team in a trade. He's got 1 year on his contract. Noah Brown is also 29 years old. He's on a 1-year deal. Luke McCaffrey was a third-round pick from last year, and KJ Osborne is 27 years old. He is on a 1-year deal. I assume Deebo is running in the slot, and Luke McCaffrey's only getting action when Deebo moves outside or needs a rest. I like Lane's tape. I think his metrics are fantastic. His college stats aren't, but that could be a result of quarterback play. The opportunity in Washington is kind of murky right now. In his rookie season, I would expect Lane to be used mostly on special teams and occasionally used to stretch the field. If he does well, he could be in competition next year for the Z receiver spot. And that's not the receiver that I would like in fantasy, but Lane's ADP is super low, and Jaydon Daniels can chuck a lot of yards. So if you're looking for a receiver late to fill out your roster, grab Jaylin Lane for the future upside. In the 7th round, they took Jacory Croskey-Merritt, running back out of Arizona. He's got good speed, especially short yardage cuts and changing direction. He forces defenders into bad angles, shows ability to spin out of tackles and fight for extra yardage after first contact. He's not a complete back. Good on first and second down, probably not suited for third down work. I didn't see any receiving upside with him. Croskey-Merritt is 5'10". He runs a 4.52 with a 95 percentile burst, which is impressive. He's got an RAS of 8.29. In college, he had 2 years of good production, which is really deceiving because he actually played 4 years at Alabama State prior to that. What you see here is New Mexico and Arizona, which only shows 13 games. He had 1,296 yards rushing, 7 receptions, 72 yards receiving, and 19 total touchdowns. He only played 1 game for Arizona because of an eligibility dispute. That year was basically lost until he popped up at the East-West Shrine Bowl and won MVP. So there's a bit of an asterisk on his college stats. You gotta take him in context. The depth chart is Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, Jeremy McNichols, and Chris Rodriguez Jr. Robinson is 26 years old. He's on the final year of his contract, currently making under $4 million a year. Eckler is 29 years old. He's on the final year of his contract. McNichols is also 29 years old. He's on the final year of his contract. Rodriguez is 24 years old. He's on the final year of his deal. I like his tape. His metrics are solid. He's got good size and speed, but I do think that he tops out as a first and second down change of pace option that is currently buried on the depth chart. Draft capital can be very telling, but it's not everything. I try not to overvalue it. There's a reason it's not part of my checklist. The opportunity here is not good. However, it's not zero either. No one in this backfield is signed past this year, and GM Adam Peters didn't sign any of them. Now, he needs to earn a spot on the 53-man roster first, which for a 7th-round pick is about 11%, and I think there's a 100% chance that the Commanders draft another running back next year. But there's a bull case for Jacory Croskey-Merritt. He's there. I'm at the end of my 16-team Superflex IDP rookie draft right now, and he's there. After guys like Ollie Gordon, Brashard Smith, and Kyle Monangai are all gone, he's just sitting there. Even if the Commanders put him on the practice squad, I think he's worth rostering. Dallas Cowboys. Boo! The Cowboys continue to patch bullet holes with Band-Aids at the running back position. At least they drafted one this year. Winners. Dak Prescott. Fans were upset they didn't grab a top-shelf receiver, but they needed to replace Zach Martin and keep Dak off the sideline. Losers. Cooper Beebe and Terrence Steele. There are now 3 Tylers on this offensive line. I demand you both legally change your names to complete the Tyler 5, which I assume will combine like a Power Rangers Megazord into one huge lineman. Don't be dicks, we need this. In the 2nd round, they took Donovan Ezeraku, edge out of Boston College. He has great hands. He's instinctive, more fast than physical, a bit undersized for the position. But he's a polished pass rusher, which is hard to say with a 3-down skill set. Scouts thought he might go in the 1st round. The Cowboys got him in the 2nd. His comp is Yannick Ngakoue. Ezeraku is 6'3", 248 pounds with a 69th percentile burst. He's got an RAS of 8.14. In college, he had 4 years of production with 215 combined tackles, 30 sacks, 8 fumbles forced. He won the Ted Hendricks Award, I assume by defeating Ted Hendricks and taking it from him. The depth chart is Dante Fowler Jr. He'll be opposite Micah Parsons and Marshawn Nealon. Fowler is 30 years old. He's on a 1-year contract. Just based on Dante Fowler Jr.'s age, contract, and being Dante Fowler Jr., I assume Ezeraku is the replacement for him at the position. Also based on the draft capital invested into him. Playing opposite Micah Parsons should lead to some good opportunities for him. He's an easy buy in IDP. In the 3rd round, they took Siobhan Revell, cornerback out of East Carolina. He's very athletic, physical, a solid tackler. He's tall, able to reach up and knock passes away. His comp is Benjamin St-Juste. Revell is 6'2", 194 pounds. He didn't participate in any drills at the combine. In college, he had 3 years of production with 70 combined tackles, 3 interceptions. Not a ton of stats, but he did miss most of last year with a torn ACL. The depth chart is Trevon Diggs, Deron Bland, and Israel Makuama. Diggs is 27 years old. He's locked up for another 3 years. Bland is 25 years old. He's on the last year of his contract. Makuama is 25 years old. He's on a 1-year deal. I'll give a pass on Revell for his metrics. You can already tell on his tape that he's very athletic. I'm not worried about that. Even with 3rd-round draft capital, though, I'm just not sold that Revell is set up for an early down role here. Maybe he takes over for Deron Bland here next year, but I'm not really that confident that that's the best play for the Cowboys. I would put him on your watch list and leave him on the waiver. In the 5th round, they took Jaydon Blue, running back out of Texas. He's got speed for days. He's a good route runner, shifty, another one that went later than his projected draft round. His comp is Nyheim Hines, which I feel is the comp anytime you like a guy, but he's small for a running back. Blue is 5'9", 196 pounds. He runs a 4.43 with an 18th percentile burst. He's got an RAS of 6.34. In college, he had 3 years of production with 1,161 yards rushing, 56 receptions, 503 yards receiving, and 18 total touchdowns. The depth chart is Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Phil Maffei, and Deuce Vaughn. Williams is 25 years old. He's on a 1-year deal. Sanders is 28 years old. He's on a 1-year deal. Maffei was a 7th-round rookie from this draft. Vaughn is 23 years old. He still has 2 years left on his deal. I can't possibly understand what the Cowboys are doing at the running back position or why they're doing it. But I will say this. Jaydon Blue is the only one on this Cowboys team with his particular skill set, and only one of 2 backs who's got a contract into next season, the other one being Deuce Vaughn. There are no red flags to say that Blue is not worth investing in here. However, I will caution, pump the brakes a little bit with his ADP, because it's a little too high for what he is right now. Yes, there's opportunity here, but don't get desperate and reach. New York Giants. The Giants had a decent draft. Next year's head coach and GM will be so pleased. Winners, wide receivers, you are enough. Apparently, the only additions were UDFAs. Losers, Tyrone Tracy, who has to share a backfield with the Kool-Aid man of running backs. They better start marking those walls at the facility so he knows which ones are load-bearing. In the first round, they took Jaxon Dart, quarterback out of Mississippi. Dart possesses adequate arm strength and accuracy. He's mobile, often indecisive, slow to process defenses and work through his progressions. But he's got intangibles. Oh, they love intangibles. One of those is apparently not being Shedeur Sanders. His comps are all over the map. I've seen Gardner Minshew and Sam Howell. Personally, he reminded me of Jalen Hurts, but only in that he shares the same flaws. Dart is 6'2", 223 pounds. He runs a 4.69. In college, he had 4 years of production, 11,970 yards passing, 81 total touchdowns, 27 interceptions. The depth chart is Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. We don't need to get clerical on this one. Russell Wilson won't be here next year. Jameis Winston could be, but it doesn't really matter anyway. Dart is a first-round quarterback. He can expect to see the field anywhere from the start of next season to the end of this sentence. I know I gave Dart 4 checks here, but he's not likely bound for my fantasy team. I'm not a fan of his game, and I don't really like late risers in the draft. Gives me flashbacks of Blake Bortles. Hopefully Dart will continue to improve before he's forced to start, which I don't expect to be early this season. Brian Daboll is already on the hot seat. He needs Russell Wilson to succeed now, or he won't be here to coach anyone next season. Dart's ADP is not cheap in Superflex leagues, and I'm looking for first-year usage with first-round draft capital. If you need a quarterback this year, I see no reason to draft him. If you need one next year, why not draft one next year? In the 3rd round, they took Darius Alexander, defensive tackle out of Toledo. He's got good size and power. He shows speed and athleticism. Sometimes he takes himself out of plays with over-pursuit. Alexander is 6'4", 305 pounds. He runs a 4.95 with a 73rd percentile burst. That's a lot of man at high speed. He's got an RAS of 917. In college, he had 5 years of production with 127 combined tackles, 23 for a loss, 1 interception. The depth chart is Roy Robertson Harris and Corey Durden. Robertson Harris is 31 years old. He's got 2 years left on his contract. Durden is 25. He's got 1 year left. The depth chart and the draft capital indicate that Alexander is likely the future at the position here, but Alexander is another rookie that I'm just not sold on. He's got a lot of tools and traits, and there's no denying his athletic upside. Brett Coleman raved about this guy, and Daniel Jeremiah compared him to Chris Jones. And maybe he'll get there, but I think he's going to need some time to develop at the next level. He's not a bad one to grab an IDP based solely on opportunity and upside, but he's not at the top of my list at the position. In the 4th round, they took Skattbo, running back out of Arizona State. He's a sledgehammer who takes on contact, shows great contact balance. He displayed decent receiving skills. I saw comps to Jay Ajayi and Jaylen Warren. I don't see either of those. My comp was Mike Allstott. And if we're accepting nickname suggestions, I'm going to go with the White Rhino. Skattbo was one of the biggest enigmas for me coming into the draft. I could see on tape that he's not that fast, But he gains so many yards after contact because he's hard to tackle. The question isn't can you catch him, it's how many bodies are you willing to throw at him to bring him down. Skattbo is 5'10", 219 pounds. He runs a 4.71. He might still be running it right now. He's got an 89th percentile burst and an RAS of 7.45. In college, he had 2 years of good production with 2,494 yards rushing, averaging 5.5 yards. He had 69 receptions for 891 yards receiving and 34 total touchdowns. The depth chart is Tyrone Tracy Jr., Devin Singletary, and Eric Gray. Tracy was taken in the 5th round last year. He was an absolute steal who led the Giants in rushing. Singletary is 27 years old. He's got 2 years left on his contract. Gray is 25 years old. He has 2 years left on his contract. Gray is completely useless. Singletary is LaShawn McCoy, but at half speed. If Cam Skattbo is behind him on the depth chart to start camp, that farce won't last long. As good as Tracy was last year, it seemed likely that the Giants would invest more at the position. That being said, I think this pairing is perfect. Tracy is a pass-catching back who can run between the tackles. Skattbo is a downhill runner with receiving skills. Their strengths complement each other, but they also show enough versatility that one of them being on the field won't necessarily telegraph to the defense what play is coming. I think the two can coexist and remain independently valuable for fantasy, much like Najee Harris and Jaylin Warren did in Pittsburgh. I like Cam Skattbo a lot, and at least as of this taping, his ADP is appropriate. I'm not worried about this depth chart, his 40 time, or that he was drafted in the 4th round. Philadelphia Eagles. You know, I heard they won a Super Bowl recently. Half the defensive parking lot was cleared after the Super Bowl. The Eagles did their best to reload. Winners. Guard Tyler Steen. He should finally be a starter now. Losers. Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He's in for a fight with Kyle McCord for the 3rd quarterback spot. Loser goes to Pittsburgh. In the 1st round, they took Jihaad Campbell.
I put a Jihaad on them.
Linebacker out of Alabama. The Eagles selecting a linebacker in the 1st round is surprising, but if you know what Howie Roseman likes, it shouldn't be. Campbell played in the SEC. He's an athletic freak, a projected top pick that slid too far in the draft. And I almost forgot he grew up 30 minutes from Philly. Campbell shows sideline-to-sideline pursuit. He's got the ideal size and speed, quick to read and react, ability to shed blocks, elite traits, and athleticism.
Because I'll put a Jihaad on you too.
Campbell is 6'3", 235 pounds. He runs a 4.52. He's got an RAS of 9.88. Last year in college, he had 117 tackles, 12 for a loss, 5 sacks, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries. The depth chart is Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and Smile Mondon Jr. Bond is 28 years old. He was a steal in free agency. He was re-signed this offseason to another 3 years. Dean is 24 years old. He's on the final year of his contract. He was finally playing top-shelf ball last year before he tore his PCL in the wild card round. Trotter was a 5th round pick from last year. Mondon was a 5th round pick from this year. I'll break him down in a bit. Now, this isn't exactly a 1-for-1 with Jihaad Campbell, but he could slide in right next to Bond because Dean is injured, and that's what I expect to start. But once Dean returns, it's likely Campbell moves to edge, so let's look at that. I'll jump right to the point here. Bryce Huff is the odd man out. He's 27 years old, paid a fat contract, and he's done jack nugget for the team. But they can't cut him before June 1st of 2026 without a $28 million dead cap money hit. If they wait until after, it's only $7 million. At this point, Huff is just taking up space, like a coaster. Campbell could be one of those chess piece players that they move all over, similar to Micah Parsons, although not Micah Parsons. He's going to see action early, often, and likely all over the place, so get Jihaad Campbell an IDP. In the 4th round, they took Ty Robinson, defensive tackle out of Nebraska. He's a bully that wins with physicality. If he wants your mini Stroop waffles, he has your mini Stroop waffles. He's first into contact, mauling blockers. Not a lot of finesse or creativity in his attacks. His comp was Grover Stewart, who may or may not have been our 13th president. Robinson is 6'5", 288 pounds. He runs a 4.83 with a 94th percentile burst. He's got an RAS of 9.89. In college, he had 134 combined tackles, 27 tackles for a loss, 12 sacks, 1 fumble forced. The depth chart is Moro Ajamo. He'll be 24 years old by the start of this season. He has 2 years left on his contract. This is his first year starting. He was a 7th rounder just a couple years ago and viewed as a steal with starter potential at the time. Last year, he rotated through with Milton Williams. I expect Robinson to spell Ojamo now. I like Ty Robinson's metrics. His tape and stats are good enough, and I think he'll work his way onto the field here and there. But even though I like him for the Eagles, I don't love him for fantasy. And honestly, you can probably find Moro Ojamo on your waiver wire. In the 5th round, they took Smile Mondon Jr., linebacker out of Georgia. He can rush the passer, he can play coverage, he can be a 3-down player. He's a solid tackler with deceptive speed. He was projected to go in the 3rd round. The Eagles got him in the 5th. Mondon is 6'2", 224 pounds. He runs a 4.58. He's got an RAS of 9.42. In college, he had 4 years of production, 212 combined tackles, 18 for a loss, 8 sacks, 1 interception. I think I need to check myself on just how much I am into Smile Mondon. I am unnecessarily in love with this prospect. But let's talk about his opportunities here, because there are a range of possibilities. If everyone is healthy, he's just a luxury pick and good depth on this roster, at least in his rookie season. Long term, if they don't re-sign Dean after this season, Mondon could take on a full-time role. But don't forget that Dean is also coming back from injury. Jihaad Campbell's coming back from injury too. What if neither are okay by week 1? Mondon could fill the void in the middle there, at least for a while, so he's got short-term and long-term potential. Now, I don't think he's worth drafting in a rookie draft, but he definitely deserves to be on your radar, maybe even stashed at the end of your bench. Thank you so much for watching Shut Up Football. Please say hi to your mom for me, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Oh, I'm loud. I'm loud now.